Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you today about the Battle of Adwa. Now, the Battle of Adwa was a victory for Ethiopia against Italy when Italy was trying to unjustly take over Ethiopia in the 1890s. Now, the Battle of Adwa sealed the deal for Ethiopia to win the war against the First Italian-Ethiopian War. Now, the Battle of Italian-Ethiopian was the first victory of an African army against a colonial empire, but it was a battle, not a war. The Anglo-Zulu War was still won by the British, but the Battle of Adwa was won by the Ethiopians, and the Ethiopians won the Italian-Ethiopian War, the first one. Now, let me explain this. The Battle of Adwa, it was when Menelik II was king of Ethiopia, was emperor. Menelik II was emperor of Ethiopia. And then his empress was Tetu. And actually, Tetu led a battalion herself and led from the front in that battle. She led one of the many Ethiopian battalions. Now, and she led from the front, encouraged her soldiers to fight on, and was selfless for her country. Same with Menelik II. And Menelik II was ruler originally of a lot of northern provinces in Ethiopia, and then Tetu was ruler of a lot of southern provinces, and their marriage helped make them the royal family of Ethiopia. But they had strong affection for one another. Common people witnessed that. They loved each other, and they loved their country. Well, Menelik II originally had allied himself with the Italians when the Italians took control of Eritrea as well as Somalia. Italy was late in the game for what many European countries at the time called the grab for Africa. A lot of European countries tried to take over Africa because of its natural resources. Well, Italy wants to become a colonial power themselves around the world. They want to build like a new Roman Empire. That happened under Mussolini, but a little bit before that as well. Well, the governments did, not necessarily the people. That's important in a different video, or later on in the video. Well, they conquer Eritrea, and then they conquer Somalia. Well, Menelik II allies himself with Italy, and Italy promises weapons as well as good trade deals and things like that. But there were two treaties, one in Italian, the language of Italy, and one in Amharic. The one in Amharic recognized Ethiopia as an independent nation, but the one in Italian, which the Italian government went by, recognized Ethiopia as a protectorate of Italy. So Italy basically starts to invade Ethiopia when Ethiopia protests this and finds out about it. Well, they win a few early battles, but then they start getting defeated. They get worried. So in the Battle of Adwa, Italy splits their forces where they try to outflank the Ethiopians and surround them and force the Ethiopians to surrender. But the Ethiopians are expecting this. So they bridge the gap in the flank, and they hide a lot of their soldiers behind hills, which prohibit the flank. And then they have some artillery that was given to them by Russia, because Russia takes the side of Ethiopia. Because Russia was an Orthodox Christian country at the time under the Tsar, and Ethiopia was an Orthodox Christian country. So they take Ethiopia's side in the war. And the Russian artillery and Ethiopian soldiers crushed the Italians at the Battle of Adwa. The news reaches the Italian civilian population, and the Italian civilian population riots demanding Italy pull out of Ethiopia, and they sign some peace treaties. Very little was demanded of Italy except for them to leave Ethiopia and to recognize Ethiopia. Ethiopia took several Italian prisoners during that time, but they treated them very humanely. Some were allowed to return to Italy, and one that did actually ended up fighting in World War I for Italy against the Germans, and he said that Ethiopians treated him a lot better as a prisoner of war than did the Germans in World War I. He said he preferred an Ethiopian prison camp to a German prison camp any day. Also, they did allow a lot of the Italians to stay in Ethiopia. Well, they made most of them stay in Ethiopia, but they were allowed to form a little Italy neighborhood. They were also allowed to marry Ethiopian women, and many did, and had children. And it was a very humane prisoner of war treatment. And little was demanded of Italy as long as they pulled out of Ethiopia and recognized Ethiopia's independence, and they did until Benito Mussolini came to power and invaded Ethiopia for a second time. So the Battle of Adwa is not very well remembered outside of Ethiopia, but it should be. But you should commend American professor Raymond Jonas at the University of Washington, who wrote a book on the Battle of Adwa. And it's an amazing book. I read it and I recommend it. So I hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye. Bye-bye.